Hey fellow problem solvers, Colfax Math here. Today I was going to do a video on costing materials for siding. And siding is usually a little bit different than other parts of a house. I've done previous videos on calculating board feet and linear feet, that kind of stuff. I'll put a link in the description to that video. But this video is only going to be about the cost of siding for a home. And before I do anything else, let me just say, there's a lot of money involved in the materials of siding. So just because you watch this video doesn't mean that's the way it's going to work in your local area. So I would certainly check with your contractor, your supplier, or your customer if you're selling. So this is an overview of how I do it, but I'm not saying by any means it's a comprehensive overview or how it works in your local area. So to start with, there's really kind of three ways that you could buy siding. The first is you could just buy a board, and I'm looking at HardiePlank right now. It's currently selling at about $12, $13 per board. The other way you could buy it is by the linear foot. So that's just how much it costs for a length of 1 foot. And then the other way to do it is by the square or the square foot. So a square is kind of a common measurement for both roofing and siding. A square is 10 foot by 10 foot. So I have 10 feet by 10 feet. 10 times 10 is 100, but then I have feet times feet, so that's square feet. The other thing is when you buy it by the square, you take into account the nominal dimensions of the product and also the lap over, the lap over side of it. So let's take a look at this board right here. Let's say I'm buying HardiePlank. It is 8¼ inches wide. That is the nominal dimension, and it is 12 feet long. If it sells for $13 a board, that just means you pay 13 bucks and you get one of those boards. If you're trying to figure out the cost per linear foot, well, it's going to be a little bit more than $1 per linear foot. To find the exact measurement per linear foot of that board, you're going to do the $13 divided by the 12 feet and get $1.08 per linear foot. And almost all these calculations always round up, especially if I'm buying. So again, where I got that linear feet from is a price per board, $13, divided by the number of feet, 12 feet, and that's going to be cost per linear foot. So the dollars are in the numerator, feet in the denominator. Then to find the price per square, it's a little bit different, because when you figure out the price per square, even though this board is 8¼ inches wide, there's only a 7-inch reveal because the 1¼ inches is covered up by the following board. So you want to know how much it's going to cost to cover 100 square feet of your house. And when you're figuring squares out, you usually measure, the walls, and you do not subtract the windows from it. And if you're doing like a gable end, a triangle, the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, So that's in math class, but in reality, if you're doing a gable end, you're putting these boards over it. So you're going to end up throwing away a lot of material on a gable end like that. So usually for a gable end, to find squares, you do base times height, and then you multiply it by 3/4. So it's going to be a lot more than the area of a triangle. So let's go back to figuring out a square of this. So I only have 7 inches revealed per board. So what I do right there is I take that 7 and I divide it by 12. So 7 inches divided by 12 inches will give me the number of feet. So 7 divided by 12 is 0.58. So that means I'm going to have 0.58 feet by 12 feet exposed. So I'm going to figure out the square footage exposed. So I'm going to now take the 0.58 feet of width times the 12 foot of length to get the total number of square feet, and I get 7. Again, I have feet times feet, so I have 7 square feet. And then that's how many square feet one board's going to be, so I got to figure that out, like how many 7s go into that 100. So now I do that 100 square feet. So 100 square feet divided by the 7 square feet per board gives me 14.3 boards. So per square, I need 14.3 boards. And then I'm going to take that 14.3 boards and multiply it by the price per board. So 14.3 times that $13, so now my units are dollars, is 185. I'm going to round up, $186 per square. So this HardiePlank sells for $13 per board. That would be $1.08 per linear foot, or $186 per square, 100 feet. And if I'm looking at my house here, and it's an 8-foot wall, and it's a 22-foot run, and I have a couple of windows in it, I'm actually not going to subtract those windows. So I'm going to figure out the total square footage of this wall. So I go 22 times the 8. So this wall is 176 square feet. I divide that 176 by 100 square feet. So 176 divided by 100 is 1.76. I'm going to round up to 1.8 squares. 1.8 squares times that 186. So 186 times 1.8 gives me $335 to side this wall. All right, if you're new to the channel, think about subscribing. I'd love to hear your comments below. I'm hoping this will help you out if you're trying to estimate the cost of materials for siding. I think I'll do another video on the cost of materials for roofing. Roofing is really the same. It still works in squares. The only difference in roof you got to take into account is that you have a pitch. So it's the size of that hypotenuse in a right triangle. But we'll put that off for another video. If you like that video, think about hitting like, and please, again, comment below if this was helpful or not, or if you need any other help figuring out materials.